Winter has come. It's very cold. We have snow. Winter came very early, very powerfully. And you might be wondering how I keep my chickens warm in the greenhouse with just a few millimeter thick plastic around it, not insulated, not heated. Well, here I will show you. Now, many of you have already seen the greenhouse in past videos. This is where some of our chickens go, not all of them. And as you can see, they walk on wood chips and some sawdust as well. And this stuff is about a foot deep. And what happens is, as you can see there, these guys kick around and look for grain in there that we throw in there. They also try to dig quite deep sometimes because there's soil under, and all our tomato plants and cucumber plants that were growing here in the summer, we just laid them on the ground and covered them, and they turn into compost, and there are worms and all different kind of things in this deep bedding. So that's how we get them to dig. And then when the chickens dig, they turn their manure into the deep bedding, and that starts burning, and it produces heat. And this deep bedding will have over 50 degrees Fahrenheit, about 60 degrees Fahrenheit sometimes, 15 degrees Celsius in the winter time when it's burning. So what we do is, every day we throw some whole grains in here. The chickens are already coming running. Some barley, some wheat, and some oats. It's hard to get rye here, but we want to just have as big of a variety as possible. I think it's just healthy for the animals to be eating as big of a variety as possible. Now this is just on the side of their normal feed that contains all the protein, all the minerals, all the vitamins, and everything that they need. It's very important that they have this even wintertime now when they're changing the feathers and all of that. But the reason why we do this is partially to give them something to do, because they will start picking on each other, and if they're bored, you know. This way they have something to look for. Then the other reason is that when they dig for these, you know, they don't get all of them on top of the deep bedding, but when they dig for them, some get buried, and then they kick the whole deep bedding around. That's how it gets aerated. That's how oxygen comes into the deep bedding. That's how it starts burning and producing the heat, so they get floor heating. And some of these they don't find, and they will start sprouting and releasing a tremendous nutritious value and protein to them. So it's a very, very nice thing to do. Now, I can take credit for this. We didn't used to do it like this. We didn't even used to do deep bedding. We used to have very little sawdust on the ground and used to clean out the stable all the time. This they walk on all winter long until spring, and then it's compost, and we can just plant right in this. We didn't used to do it. I can take credit for this. This is what we copy from, again, Farmer Charles Salatin in Swope, Virginia. You've heard me say his name many times. He's just amazing. He does amazing stuff, and we copied this from him, and we've had amazing effect. Go on. So now you can see that they have eaten most of the ones that are just laying on top. Now they have a harder time finding them, so they're starting to kick around more with their feet, trying to look for the ones. They are occupied, they're busy, they have something to do, and they start to work down the manure that they dropped in the last 24 hours and at night. So again, they do the work for you, they do the composting for you, while this actually encourages the chicken to be a chicken. Now this is where the chickens roost on at night, and there is a manure buildup under there because they spend a bigger part of the day here, and so that manure load gets so much that it's too much for the chickens to work it into the deep bedding. So that's why I'm going to move this now to a different place, so it's going to be spread out throughout the whole greenhouse. Now you can see a little bit more how they're digging. Sometimes they dig about 8 inches deep. Get to the ground of things, to the bottom of the things. Now here you see these metal gates here. They are actually from when we had sheep. And I just put them in here and they roost on these as well. So there's more manure buildup, but you know, I can just take one and just move it, and then the manure goes somewhere else the next day. It works really well. What I love about the system is that, you know, you let the animals do the work for you, and you don't have to bring in new compost and new soil in the spring, and you don't have to haul all the manure out of the stable. And this way, it's just wonderful, you know. This way you can also use your greenhouse all year round. There are some downsides with this, or I wouldn't say downsides, there are some things that you just need to pay attention to, and it's important that you can solve them, and we're still working on some of those issues. Let me show you here. One thing is that here by the water, the chickens drop a lot of water on the ground, and there the deep bedding just gets packed down, wet, the manure doesn't mix in, and it just doesn't work well. It will start to smell, and the chickens can't aerate it. And that's something where I'm wondering if I will put some kind of plastic sheet or something under the water so the water runs out. I still have to figure that out. This is just a small area around the bellwater. It's not the whole bedding. And one thing you just need to pay attention to is, for example, under the roosts, the manure buildup, that it doesn't get too much. You see, now I moved the roosts and the chickens are kicking there and are already working in the manure into the ground, which is wonderful. I talked with Farmer Charles Salatin actually, because we copied this from him. I wrote him an email and he responded, and I asked him, how many chickens do you put in a greenhouse? What's the square footage per chicken? And he said that you need 3 square feet per chicken. Otherwise, the manure builds up so much that the chickens can't handle to work it into the ground anymore, into the deep bedding. Then it'll just pack on top, and the whole system won't work. So even right now, I walk around and I try to find places where it's packed, where they haven't aerated it. I try to throw some grain there, and if that doesn't work, then I'll just take a shovel or something and just turn it a little bit, and that's it. This bedding is so deep that it's most of the time it's just light and fluffy and dry. So the longer they will go in this now, the better the heat will become, and the floor heating will be more constant. This is actually not enough chickens in here to really get that started. We have another 25 chickens in a different stable, and we'll add some more. In this greenhouse, this size, how it is right now, I can have 300 chickens. And that's what we're gonna do this winter. We are gonna hatch a lot of chickens, and gonna have a lot more layers and sell lots of eggs next year. So guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to our channel to stay tuned, and comment as always below if you have any questions. There are gonna be more videos coming up about our different breeds that we use, that we have tested, which we think is the best breed, and just lots more information. So thank you for watching, and see you soon. Bye bye.